Welcome back to another Wrestling Mama podcast. Today I have for you an interview with Robbie Mirasola. She is the mother of twin boys, Cole and Connor Mirasola. They are currently seniors in Wisconsin and they have committed to Penn State. So lots of fun conversations here. I hope you guys enjoy it. Just remember to subscribe and like, and please share this podcast just to get the message out to other moms, wrestling mamas, that we exist. And it's fun to kind of have conversations with other moms and to hear what they have to say. All of our stories are different, but it's nice to be able to relate to one another and just be able to support one another. So enjoy. Okay, welcome to the Wrestling Mama podcast. I'm excited that we get to have this conversation, and let's just go ahead and jump right in and tell me about your family.
Well, I'm Robbie Mirasola, and I am the mother of Cole and Connor Mirasola. And my family, I have two sisters, and I have a mom and dad, and we all live within 5 minutes of each other. So my two sisters live literally across the street from each other, and I live probably 5 minutes from them. So
that's cool. Very cool. And you grew up there?
No, I grew up in Sussex.
Okay.
So I went to Sussex Hamilton. And so Stacy and I went to Sussex Hamilton, and then my other sister, Megan, which is a younger one, ended up going to Slinger. So my parents, we all pretty much live in Slinger, Richfield, Hubertus area.
Okay. So you come from a family of girls.
Yep. Two girls, and I'm the oldest, and then I have two younger sisters.
Okay. And tell me about your childhood. Were you involved in sports? Any interest?
No, I ran track in high school. I was fine at it. Didn't go to state or didn't do anything like that, but I did run track in high school. That was my extent of sports.
Okay. And did you always want children growing up?
Yeah. Yes. When John and I got married, we got married later in life, and we decided, we're like, oh, are we gonna have one? Are we gonna have two? And God blessed us with two.
Yeah. Do twins run in your family or John's family?
No. Well, John's brother has twins, but I think it was just my age and having children later in life, and yeah, we were
What was that? Yeah. What was that like, being pregnant with twins? I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it was so it was funny because John and we got married in March. I'm assuming I got pregnant on our honeymoon, and we got married in March, and then the boys were born in the same year. So married and then had the boys in the same year. They were preemies. They were 6 weeks early.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a crazy. I got big very fast with them, and I was quite large. Yeah. But they were preemies. So when they were born, they were 6 weeks early, and Connor was 5'11" or 5'2", and Cole was 4'11". So they were very close in size, and they were big for being 6 weeks early.
Sure.
But yeah, I was early with them.
And Cole is older, correct?
Yeah. No, Connor is older.
Oh, Connor's older. Okay.
Yeah. So and they have different birthdays. So
really?
Connor's birthday's on December 29th.
Okay.
And Cole's birthday is on December 30th.
Oh wow, how neat. That's fun. That's fun.
So it's always hard in the month of December after Christmas.
Sure.
Finding fun things to do at after their birthdays and after all the holidays and stuff. So yes, and so it's always finding one thing to do the first day, and then the second day you have to do as for the second one.
Sure. Birthdays are special. Yep.
Yes, they are. So the last couple of years we've been in Oshkosh for their birthdays, and I said, "Oh, on your birthday?" And they're like, "There's nothing else I'd rather be doing." So we spend their birthdays in Oshkosh.
Oh, okay. Oh, fun.
At a wrestling tournament.
Yes, of course, right? Any fun stories about being pregnant or birthing twins?
Well, I guess having different birthdays, that's crazy. they were, it was always baby A and baby B. And we always said, we knew, we had the name Cole. Cole was always Cole. And then we wanted something that, kind of went together. So then we decided on Connor.
Yeah. And did you do typical things like dress them alike?
Oh, yeah. Every picture up to the age of, maybe 8, they had the same outfits on.
Oh,
So yeah, every year it was you always buy the exact same clothes, and to this day we always laugh that I'll show my mom and she'll say, "Is that Cole or is that Connor or is that?" So
yeah.
you know, family doesn't, and I don't think they look similar, but Cole has a mole on his face, so we always say Cole with a mole. So
Oh, okay.
that's one little trick we always tell people.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That's good to know. What were the boys like as kids? I know they definitely look a lot alike. But
Yeah,
personality
yes,
wise,
as personality, and to this day, they kind of switch. Like one will be kind of sweet, and one will be. Granted, they are very good boys. They're very very good boys. But one week one will be real extra sweet, and then the other one's a little sassier. The other one is, but they have very similar personalities. The one thing about Cole is definitely more laid back. He goes with the flow. Okay, he does. And Connor's definitely the boss.
oh, okay.
He is definitely the boss. He bosses Cole around, tries to boss all of us around, but he is definitely the dominant one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you have any experience with wrestling? Did you intend for them to wrestle?
Well, we, as kids, you always say, okay, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? So they started off in basketball, just like a club or through the rec center. And they liked that. That was fine. They did that. That was their first little sport. And then baseball, then they got into t-ball and they got into playing baseball. And we always laughed because they would either strike out or hit a home run. There was nothing in between.
Oh, that's
They
funny.
yeah, they weren't, they liked it. They weren't their attention span to it wasn't like the other kids where they were like, okay, yeah, we can go, we'll go. It wasn't, they were very lackadaisical about it. They weren't, oh, let's go, we got to do this, we're late for practice. But they would go and they'd be with the team, and it was more of a team sport and stuff like that. But yeah, we always laughed that it was either a home run or they would strike out.
Right. And what age did the boys start wrestling?
It was first grade.
Okay.
So they had a friend, his name is Gavin, and his dad was big into wrestling, and Gavin had a brother, and they all wrestled at West Bend Wildcats. That was their initial start to it. And Gavin says that was like his first real, friend. And he says, "Oh," he told his dad, he says, "I have this friend Cole Connor, and that wants to get into wrestling." So Cole and Connor showed up at wrestling, and Gavin's dad, Jim, says, "Well, you said Cole Connor." He's like, "No, it's two of them, Cole and Connor." So it was
Yeah.
funny that he thought it was one kid because Gavin said Cole Connor's going to come and try out for wrestling. So yeah, and ever since then, they've loved the sport. Yeah, I think it was first grade, first or second grade, they really got into it.
Okay.
So
So they were young.
yeah, they were, and they were. Oh, I still look back at the pictures. They were tall and skinny, and they were always tall for their age, and they were just like skinny beanpoles in their
Yeah.
little singlets.
Yeah. So cute. I know. I look back at pictures of the boys even when they're younger, and it's like, oh my gosh, they look like babies.
Oh, I know. You post stuff on Facebook or you see stuff and you're like,
Yeah.
God, 4 years ago,
I,
you can't even still even believe that.
I know. I know. It goes too fast.
Yeah.
So what was your knowledge of the sport? Did you follow it all?
No,
No, nothing. Yeah.
I no, no, I had no knowledge of the sport. I don't even think I watched their first match. I maybe when they were little, but I felt like it was such a rough sport, or and it's such an individual sport that, it's all on them. It's them.
Yes.
There's no teammate. There's nobody behind you. It's you and the person you're wrestling. So I really had no knowledge. I had, I'd seen it in high school, but that was so many years ago. And, but yeah, I had no knowledge of the points, the wrestling, the styles, anything.
Yeah. Right. And what age did they start doing tournaments and competing?
Um, it was a little bit after that where John would take them to, smaller tournaments, and they really enjoyed watching, going, and they definitely enjoyed competing. But more of the thought of watching what other kids were doing, and things like that. So, but it was, I'd say probably third or fourth grade, maybe, that they started, getting into not large tournaments, but competing more.
Okay. And at what age or when did you realize that they were excelling? That they
Um,
were like pretty good at it.
I, well, since I never watch,
Right.
so that is one thing about me that I have never. Well, I can't say never, but I very rarely watch. I turn my back. I set the timer on my phone and do the 2 minutes or the 3 minutes, and then kind of walk back in. Especially large tournaments or stage or any Fargo, or when we were in Vegas, I very rarely watch. So
No, I get it. And
but
that's so interesting to me that you do that, because I completely get it. I completely understand. But it's so, I mean, because I saw you at what was it? Was it
Parkside.
Parkside? Yes. And it was after you had said that, I was like, oh my goodness, yes, like you don't realize it, but you set your timer, and then I hear you cheer for them and
Yeah.
yell for them, but you would like turn or kind of go, and I was like, hey, I get it.
Yeah, they had
That's
caught me a
so
couple times
interesting.
on Flow. We always laugh. They said, "Oh, that
Yeah.
must be Cole or Mirasola's mother," or I'll scream, and then they get mad at me about that because they don't like that I do that.
No, they don't like
So,
it. They can probably hear you.
oh
Oh, I'm
yes, they
sure.
can hear me, and yeah, they don't like that. So I either kind of watch and scream, or I don't watch. And then once they get out on the mat, I scream, go Cole or go Connor. And then after that, I set my timer and I kind of pace.
Right, right. Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what do the boys say about that? Do they tease you? Laugh
Oh yeah.
about?
They
Oh,
said,
I'm
"You
sure.
don't even watch us." I said, "I don't watch. I'm here to support
Yeah.
you. I'm here to show you that I care about you. I love you, and I'm here." But and my biggest fear about it all is getting hurt. And that's my biggest fear. And the positions they're in, the holds they put the kids in, the smashing in the mat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to watch, especially as a mom.
Yes, but you see other moms watching, you see other
Yeah.
moms cheering, you see other moms not saying anything and just watching intently. And I'm like, how can you do that? And
Yeah.
they
Hey.
do, but I don't.
Yes, yes. So then do the boys talk much wrestling with you? Or is it
Yeah.
more they
Um, so now, so they go to Askren Wrestling Academy, and they go to mainly the one in Thiensville. And so I got to know a lot of the kids, um, them going to the matches, or if they had a cookout, or if they talked about them, or just, I guess, basically going to the matches. Then they'll say, "Oh, so and so did this, or so and so did that," and all they do is watch wrestling. They
yes.
watch it on their phones, they watch it on YouTube, they just watch it constantly. So, not that I know anything about it, but they'll say, "Oh, so and so did this, or so and so did that," and um, yeah, but
So you can't escape it. It's always,
yes,
always
never
going
escape
on
it.
in your house,
No,
right?
right, right. Any kind of sport, I'm amazed at how we were watching football on Sunday that they knew every player on the team, and I'm like, how you don't even, you don't even play football, you don't, and or basketball we watched last night for the Bucks, and I'm like, how do you know all this? So they're always, in the know, I guess, on their phones or watching it on TV or
Sure.
whatever.
Did
But
they
yeah,
ever try football?
oh yeah,
I feel like they would try to be
yes,
recruited for that.
they were. Yes, and that's the sport that and that's the sport that they probably get more hurt at than wrestling.
Yeah.
And I think they joined in 6th grade, 5th grade. Maybe no, it was probably 4th grade. They did wrestling or football. So they did, club and flag and so on. And so they played in West Bend and they played both offense and defense and they were very good. They were very, I think once you're athletic, I think that kind of just brings out in any sport. But
Sure.
yeah, so they did play sports and then they played into on their freshman year and then they had to make the decision. They had to make the decision, do you want to do your career in football
Mhm.
or do you want to continue with wrestling? And wrestling that was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was
Oh,
fun going to the games, and that's what I missed most because I could watch that. I
yeah.
don't know why, but um yeah, but it
Maybe
was more
because
of a
they have,
team sport.
right, the
We
pads
had
on and
backup.
helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'd always it was great.
Yeah.
So, but that was short-lived because of wrestling.
Okay. And what are some major accomplishments for Connor and Cole that you
Well,
would say?
it was funny that Cole, I told them that I was doing this interview and I said, okay, write down everything that any of your accomplishments because I don't, I mean, obviously I know, but I don't know what every tournament is important. This is the biggest tournament ever. This is it. But Connor had said he's a 3-time state champ. He's also a 2-time Fargo champ in juniors, 3-time world team trial runner up, and U220 US Open, and he took 5th. So that was for Connor. Yeah, so Connor has he just sent me yesterday. They have the banner ups at school of all the state champs.
Oh,
So for
cool.
wrestling. So I said, take a picture of that. I want to see you. So he's got 3 banners of and the first year that he won state his freshman year, they had their masks on. So that'll be something you'll never forget.
Yeah. Right.
So and then Cole, he's a 2-time state champ and he's a Fargo runner-up, UWW Juniors All-American, and in the U20 US Open, he took 5th, and then a World Team Trials All-American. So they both they're so competitive. They're competitive, but Cole is always and that's the thing with Cole and Cole is always watching what Connor's doing. Cole always is because it's usually Connor wrestling first because he's a lighter weight, and Connor or Cole's always watching how did Cole or Connor do? How did Connor do? So I always feel that, um, he has to keep up with his brother. So I always kind of feel bad about that. But
And Cole's heavier.
yes, Cole. Well, he's 10 pounds heavier.
Okay. And
But
that's my husband was joking the other day. He's like, how did Cole get the heavier weight? Like how'd
I
they have to flip
know.
a coin or something? Because they're close in weight. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know. That would be hard.
They just said they just decided that Cole they've always been the same weight growing up, always within pounds of each other. And they just said Cole said, I'll take the heavier weight.
Okay.
So Cole or Connor wrestles one in the different styles or whatever, but like usually 197 and then Cole will do the heavyweight.
Okay. So do they ever have to cut weight or they
Mm,
sometimes?
Connor watches his weight.
Right.
A little bit more. Well, he watches his weight, but Connor or Cole never
Never
has to.
does. Yeah. That's
No,
nice.
because I think he literally weighs 210 pounds.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's or Connor's a little bit closer to his actual weight, and Cole definitely is outweighed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I think that us wrestling moms have different roles at times. Some, like you said, are all in, super involved, know everything, even coach. I've met wrestling moms that like will be on the side of the mat. What would you say is your main role in this?
Oh, I said my main role is it's just support. It's all it is support. I'm the bus driver getting them there. I'm the, laundromat doing the singlets and the washing, and the chef making the food after, or packing the lunches. And John and I always say, okay, what are you bringing this time? I'll bring this, you bring that. So we are always really good about who's bringing this, who's bringing these drinks. Okay, Connor has to watch his weight, So it's basically support. And I'm just there. And I know if they had a bad match, even if they won and they felt like they didn't do their best or didn't, I'm just there to sit there and, just sit there, because they'll talk when they're ready to talk. That's not always right away. So I'll just sit there and wait, and that's it. So it's basically support.
Right. And I think wrestling has a lot to do with mindset.
Oh,
A ton. So what has helped your boys, you think, with their mindset?
they do a lot of privates with Max Askren, and some days they'll practice, some days they'll just sit and watch film, and he's really, really good to them, and really it's just, writing down your goals and writing down your next thing and writing down everything that's important to you and how do you get there. And the one thing with the boys I always feel is that they're always moving to the next thing. They won state. Well, we got to do this now. And I always feel, take in what you're doing now, take in today, and we'll worry about that tomorrow.
Yeah. Right.
So it's always moving on to the bigger and next bigger, better thing. So.
Right. Right. So is there anything you wish you knew then that you know now?
And I just, and with me, I always want to show the boys like vacations, and every year, my whole life, we've always went up north for the 4th of July. I've done it from since every year. And the last 3 years, the boys weren't able to go because of Fargo, because it was their training time and their time that they had to practice, and they couldn't miss 2 days of wrestling or 5 days of wrestling. So I just feel like I wish I would have, they're so committed. And I just, the commitment is I guess I wish I would have known that. I mean, I'd like to take them on vacations and do fun things other than wrestling, other than, try to do other things with them, because I feel that that's all they do. So I try to, trip to Florida, or trip to Mexico, a trip to, so-and-so. So I just wish I would have known that. The commitment is incredible.
And when they do get to go to Florida, do they disconnect from wrestling ever?
No.
Or do they still do practices and
they'll work out? We were in Florida in August. August. It was right before school. And they were still working out. It was 99 degrees and 100% humidity. And they were pushing themselves out there with kettlebells and just, and that's good. I said, you have each other to practice with. You have each other to put moves on or do, whatever. So they always have each other, but they're always, where are we going to work out? Can we work out? We're going to, so, maybe a day or two, they'd say we don't need to, but other than that, it's all wrestling.
yes. And they seem to have a very strong connection and relationship.
Oh, they're best friends.
Right.
They're best friends. They always say they're best friends.
Yeah. And so they recently committed to Penn State.
Yes.
Together.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Now, I had heard through kind of a grapevine that they had, if they were going to wrestle in college, they were going to wrestle together. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It was, we were so excited last year, their junior year. So I think it's their junior year that the coaches could call. And I think they got like 20 some calls from different schools. And if one wasn't, one called Connor or one called Cole, they were definitely out. And we went to visit some schools, and they were awesome schools. I loved them all.
Yeah.
And but once we met with a Kale at Penn State, there was no other.
What was your impression of that wrestling room and
Oh,
environment?
it was awesome. It was awesome. Absolutely awesome. It again, knowing nothing about wrestling, it was just the atmosphere, the vibe that was going on, the kids there. It was incredible. It was electric. We had went and they were against Iowa, the tournament, on our visit, and it was like no other. So
Did they know right away that
oh,
have they always wanted to go there?
Oh yes.
Okay. I feel like that's one of the top schools for
Yes.
most
Yes.
wrestlers right now.
Oh yes. So once we met with Kale and Casey, and it was there was no other.
And how are you feeling about that?
Oh, I'm sad.
I know. I mean, just being a mom, they've always been so close. And
I know. I said, you're going to miss home. Oh, no, we're not. I said, okay. I said, it's not like if you went to Illinois or you went to Iowa, somewhere where you could go a 4-hour drive and I could come for lunch, or your dad and I could, it's a 10 to 12-hour ride to Penn State.
Mhm.
So, I'm really sad. I'm so proud of them.
Yes.
But I'm so sad for myself.
Right. I know. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and the one saving grace about it all is that they have each other. They have each other,
yes.
and they have a friend there, and they love the coaches, and I hope they'll take care of them as we do.
Right. Yeah, that's great. Congratulations. That's so
thank you.
cool. So cool.
Yeah.
What do you struggle the most with being a wrestling mom?
The thing I struggle with, so at Fargo, Connor took first at Fargo, and Cole took second, and it's heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
It is absolutely heart-wrenching. Obviously, you're so happy for Connor. You're so proud of him. You're so proud of the accomplishment. And then you see Cole, which second, that's awesome. But he was so very upset. So
Right.
that is really what I struggle with. That one, and that's being twins, I guess. Just I think that was my number one hardest moment ever. Is
Right.
that he was so happy and so confident, and he'd worked so hard, and yeah, that was my hardest moment.
Right. I think, yes, you see how much time and effort and that they put in, and to see them kind of fall short is just,
Yes.
it's hard. Yeah.
And falling short being second.
Yeah. It's not really right.
Right. But yeah, that was my hardest moment.
Yeah. And what do you enjoy the most?
Oh, just them being so happy and so proud of themselves, and seeing them with their friends, and seeing them just being happy. And you always say, oh, I'm so proud of you. And they're so humble with that, where they'll say, thanks. Yeah, it was, yeah. And just seeing them smile, seeing them happy. And if they'll get a text from Kale or get a text from, they're just so happy. And I just seeing them happy.
Yeah.
Seeing them smile and being proud of themselves, and knowing how, and I don't think they realize how how good they are, or how just the place that they're in,
Sure,
that,
sure.
that you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the character that it has created in them, and because of the struggles they go through, it can be seen. Um, I see them actually, they both have wrestled with my sons, both of
Yeah.
them for privates. And
Tonight. Isn't it tonight too?
well, they're supposed to do it today, but Christian kind of
Oh,
hurt his wrist a little, so they took it
oh,
easy.
okay.
But yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
they just they look up to them. Like they think it's the
Oh,
coolest thing, and your boys are so good to them, and you just good role models.
yes.
And we
Yes.
appreciate it a
We
ton.
we were in the airport. I think it was going to, I don't know where we were going, to Fargo, or not at Fargo, Vegas, or somewhere we were going. And some kids came up to them and said, "Do you think we could have a picture with you?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's so nice."
Yeah, just wait. You're probably going to get a ton more of that.
Oh, I hope so
Once
for
they,
their
oh,
sake.
yes, yes.
Yeah, no, I was just like, wow, okay, all right. So,
Yes, how neat. I know. Okay, so speaking of that, it kind of brings up a couple like off topics before we close. One of them is cauliflower ear. What are your and what's
oh,
funny is Gabriel, my youngest, said that he was wrestling with Cole, and Gabriel told him, "Man, if I had cauliflower ear like you, my mom would kill me." And Cole goes, "Yeah, my mom wasn't too happy."
well, this is the
So,
funniest story when I was thinking about that. I had taken the boys to Mexico. Myself and the boys and my family, my sisters and my parents, went to Mexico. And the night before is when Connor, his ear exploded, or it was the first time he got cauliflower ear. I never saw it. He kind of hid it from me because he knew how upset I would be. And so as the days went on, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And John wanted me to take him to a Mexican doctor. I said, needless to say, we didn't take him to the doctor in Mexico. I did not. But when we got home, we got it drained. Oh,
I
it's,
know.
they call it the badge of honor or whatever it is. But
I
yeah.
know. And he told Gabriel, he's like, "Well, what did he say? Jordan Burroughs and all Kyle Snyder and all them have wives." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, they looked past the years." No, I
I
know.
know. I said,
I
it's
know.
terrible. I said, I think people know that you're wrestlers because
Right.
of it, but I always say headgear. Where's your
I
headgear? And I love in
know.
high school you have to wear it, but
Yes.
it's almost past that. They can't put earbuds in. They can
I
only wear
know.
the big headphones. They can't fit it in their ear. And we had just went to the doctor for their physical for wrestling, and you can't even fit anything in the ear.
I know. Something I will never understand, I guess.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
won't.
right.
Yes. And in closing, just any tips or any advice for other moms out there that are kind of going through what you are in different stages of their wrestling
Oh,
mom life?
I just, we as we started doing this, it was, you just, I guess you kind of find what they're passionate in. Find out, you try the baseball, you try the basketball, you try the football, and this was their sport that they really clung to. This was a sport that they really connected with. They met kids that were, that they could wrestle. They met lifelong friends, and I think it's just kind of follow what they're feeling. I mean, and they know, all of a sudden they played, soccer for a season, and oh no, that ain't for me. Oh, baseball isn't for me. But once they found wrestling, that was it. And when I go to the tournaments, I'm there for support because I don't have any knowledge. I don't say, oh, you should have done a whatever, a triple
I
hook
know.
or whatever. I don't know any of that, and I can't even say that because they'll know I'm I'm crazy.
They laugh at you.
And
Yeah.
so I just sitting there and supporting them, and if this is what you want to do and this is how you want to compete, and I look back now and I'm so happy for them that this is what they wanted, because this is what they'll do in college, and they'll go to a great school, and hopefully, continue with their goals.
Yes. Well, I know you say you don't really know much about wrestling and all the moves, but you're definitely a big part of those boys' lives and you're making a huge impact. And I'm sure they appreciate you like you can't even imagine. So
Well,
it
I
was,
always laugh. I'm like, okay, so you do folk style, you do freestyle. I said, what's that alligator turn that you guys do? Where they roll them, and they
oh
said,
yeah.
don't say that. I said, well, that's the only move I like, that you can roll them and get all those points and it could be over. And I said,
Yes.
I just,
Yes.
I
Keep
said,
doing that.
sooner the better. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I love. I love it to be 30 seconds and done. So.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I really enjoyed this.
Oh, I did too. Thank you for
Yes.
asking me. And I'm
Yes.
sorry that I don't have a lot of wrestling knowledge. I don't have a lot of, but I love the boys and I support them and their friends. And it's just a great, even though it's not a team sport, it's an individual sport, but a team sport. And they just have made great friends, and just,
Yeah.
just to become great young men doing
Right.
it with the values that they have, that they've learned during wrestling. So
Yeah. And I think the community, like you said, is just great for sure and supportive. And so it's really
yeah,
important, I think, to find
right,
your people that you
right,
can connect
exactly.
with.
Find
And
people that have those same interests, and the families, and that's what it's all about. So.
yeah.